things I learned this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first, I learned that the train infrastructure in China is like noodles. Okay. So the distance from Beijing, China to Shanghai is like a little bit shorter than Boston to Chicago. And apparently on the Amtrak, it takes 21 hours and 35 minutes. But in China, the high-speed train going that same distance takes 4 hours and 18 minutes. What? How is that even possible? And it costs half the money. So the infrastructure in China with the trains, noodles, and let me tell you, I'm not surprised because there were so many Chinese people that were brought to America to actually build the train system here. And so it's no surprise that they actually learned the engineering, took it back to China and was like, we're about to turn this up.
They're living in 2035.
Yes, that shit is like, second, a lot of us have been hearing this song, Can I Get to the Yams? But nobody really knows what the actual inspiration for the song is. Now, some people thought it was Fetty Wap, and that was incorrect. I know Nails, you thought it was Fetty Wap, but it's incorrect. This is the real source of the Yams song. An episode of Martin.
Man.
So there you go, y'all. Can I get to the Yams? Was actually inspired by an episode of Martin where he is having a conversation with Tommy Davidson, and Tommy Davidson's character is so rich that he has imported yams when he goes to where he's going. So now we know. Now, last thing I learned this week, and this was so good to know. Did you know that 82 U.S. schools have changed their Confederate school names since George Floyd? That was it's been happening under the radar, but school name changes involving Confederates have been the most visible because they're so well known, but they were far from like the controversial names I think a lot of people knew about, like Ulysses S. Grant, et cetera, et cetera. In Minnesota, 2 schools removed the name Henry Sibley, who was a Civil War era governor, after activists brought to light evidence that he massacred native Dakota people. In Illinois, school board officials eschewed the name Daniel Webster, a former Secretary of State who defended slavery, got that out of there. So more than 80 public schools, y'all, across the U.S. chose to drop their namesakes in the aftermath of George Floyd's murder in May 2020. And this is all according to the USA Today analysis of federal data. And I think it's so important because, again, schools are supposed to be places of safety, places of learning, places of elevation. And if we're going to keep elevating these racist symbols of this racist past, then we continue to preserve it. You hear me? We continue to preserve it. So those are the things I learned this week. Yeah. Did any of those things strike a chord with you, Nails?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, you just brought me back when you said that Martin reference to the Yams. Like, I forgot all about that. I didn't even, now that you mentioned it, I remember it now.
Right. There you go. See? The internet. They be teaching me so much.